You don't know what a kit is, but you want to know what a kit is. Gunplapedia.
Gundam Deathscythe Hell Endless Waltz version. This is a Colony's Liberation mobile suit from Mobile Suit Gundam Wing Endless Waltz, a 3-episode OVA turned film sequel to the Gundam Wing TV series. So, back in After Colony 175, after the smartest engineers in the world came together to make the first mobile suit, the Tallgeese, they also drafted up the Wing Zero. This was a goddamn monster. The most powerful mobile suit to ever be conceived, bar none. But consequently, it was also incredibly expensive and time-consuming. Technology wasn't really there yet. They didn't really have the hearts in it, and they decided not to even complete the design. They ended up shelving it. Fast forward 20 years, after Colony 195, and each of these 5 scientists behind the Zero and the Tallgeese, plus Howard Tallgeese, don't worry about him, decided to carry out their Oz revenge plan against the Organization of Zodiac that had taken military control over the planet, in the name of the colonies, which were feeling a wee bit oppressed at the time. Originally, Operation Meteor was supposed to be a mass blitz of colony drops on the planet, in which then they would send down 5 experimental mobile suits to clean up whatever was left. All the scientists, with the exception of Master O, who was a sociopath, decided they weren't on board mass genocide, and went off on their own way, developing their own Gundam, based on the Wing Zero, with their own design stylings, and sending down their own pilot to try to enact their plans against Oz independently, not knowing each other was doing the exact same thing. The Deathscythe, made by Professor G, was one of those. While he thought the idea of the transforming high-powered beam cannoning Zero was all well and dandy, he also thought it didn't have enough skulls or skeleton rib cages or dark edgy angles or bat wings or invisibility. So he made the edgiest shit he could think of, gave it to a little orphan boy that he met, and sent it down to the planet. The Deathscythe Hell we see here is an upgraded version of it. After it was captured by Oz and publicly destroyed, the wreckage was brought to the captured 5 scientists, and they tinkered and rebuilt it. This is a version, as seen in the Endless Waltz OVA and film, that's supposed to be a more alternate design take, with alternate mecha designers taking their own spin on it. Endless Waltz wants you to imagine that it's always looked this way, even if it doesn't make a lot of sense to the narrative of the TV show, but it's more like a what-if kind of design. Ditching the more Germanic Stahlhelm elements of the Deathscythe's Hell from TV, it goes all in on the blades and the bat wings and the pointy shoes, in a way you just kind of have to admire for just how blatantly edgy it is, but in a cool way. Those wings do still open and close into an active cloak that can protect it from harm, and it also has a hyperjammer system that straight up lets it become invisible. Not invisible to electronics like the original Deathscythe, but straight up goddamn invisible. Duo Maxwell would use the Deathscythe Hell to stalk his prey in the streets of Brussels and cut them down with his beam scythe without mercy. Now, it's a bit hard to work with all the sharp angles cosmetically, but if you can find other such flat, sharp surfaces, like say the H2, you can put together some real neat designs. As far as gameplay-wise goes, it has the Hypercloak, which actually has the feature to reduce aggro from enemies targeting you. If there's another viable target like a teammate on the field, they won't even try to look at you, they'll go for them instead. Even if you are right there in front of them, if you're invisible under this hyperjammer, they're not even going to try to target you. When an enemy uses hyperjammer, you cannot even lock onto them. The only way to damage them is to just swing wildly and hope you catch. Or use shooting mode to, catch them in first person here. It also carries Vulcan guns, and the self-destruct skill that most of the Wing Gundams have. Self-destruct thematically was because being super experimental models, they didn't want Oz to get their greedy mitts on them and reverse engineer them. If the mission was compromised, if pilot was captured, they're supposed to self-detonate and take the suit with it.